What a race we had. Lando Norris's gap to Red Bull of Max Verstappen was 22.8 seconds. It's hard to believe, right? Last year, this gap used to be maintained by Red Bull. McLaren just crushed Max Verstappen and his crew, and that too, so brutally. And what happened to Mercedes? After a remarkable race at Belgium GP, George Russell, so-called tire whisperer, why tire degradation was so much at Mercedes? And what happened to Oscar Piastri? He failed to overtake George in the first stint, and Charles in the second stint where his teammate was leading the race by 22 seconds. And how come Ferrari was able to find a strong race pace? Just to remind you, they were 9/10 of a second slow in qualifying. Let's talk about all these things in today's video. I was thinking that the race will be like Hungarian Grand Prix, where we could see McLaren finishing 1 and 2, but after a disastrous start by both McLaren drivers, Norris was able to find the pace and blast past Verstappen, and on the other hand, Oscar struggled and managed to finish the race at P4 behind Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris had the same reaction time as compared to Max, however, while going from 0 to 200 kilometers per hour. Verstappen took 5.23 seconds, whereas Lando took 5.64 seconds. What I think is Oscar's race was destroyed the moment he went on a long stint. Then coming back in the dirty air is just a useless thing for a fast car. I guess the whole team was focused on Lando's race and forgot Oscar. Knowing that they have the fastest car, they should have gone for aggressive strategy. Just like Charles. If Oscar had gone for the undercut, he could have chased Max at later stages of the race. The upgrades brought are working perfectly fine. I can't imagine what would be the pace of the MCL30 in upcoming upgrade packages. Lando Norris earned 8 points more than Red Bull, and in constructors, they are just 30 points behind Red Bull. Oscar said that MCL30 does not fear any tracks now. This means that in 1 or 2 GPs, McLaren will take lead of the constructors. Now coming to Red Bull, they are bringing upgrades race after race, however. Nothing seems to be working fine now. As per a lot of experts, it seems that they have extracted maximum performance out of RB20's design philosophy, and nothing more can be done. That's why upgrades are not working as they should have. High downforce spec car, which was earlier brought to Hungarian GP, didn't give them any performance gain, and team did some changes and bought it back. Both Max and Perez were using different spec cars. You can see them over the screen. Perez found it difficult to drive. Mexican started the race at P5 and ended at P6. When you are a Red Bull driver, these results seem pathetic. However, looking at the struggle he had in the past 7 races, it seems a huge accomplishment and boost and a ray of hope to fight for Constructors' Championship. Max was looking very calm in his home race, despite being beaten by Lando by 22 seconds. What do you think? Can Red Bull bounce back? Share your views. Now coming to Mercedes, this is the team who was winning race after race, but suddenly what happened? George started the race at P4 and ended at P7, and his teammate Lewis started P11 and finished at P8. Russell had a mega start, however, pinned by Charles and Oscar. He was not able to keep up with the pace of Ferrari and McLaren. Their tire degradation was huge as compared to their rivals. Also, ahead of the race, Russell went with a different setting, which could have also affected his race. The new floor, which was brought at Belgium GP, was again introduced at Zandvoort, and which didn't give the performance benefit as team wanted. They have had the same issues at Belgium GP and reverted to old specification on race day. I guess there is some issue with the new floor, and if this is the case, then Mercedes is in trouble. In the last 6 races, the team was in podium places and now P7 and P8. Floor plays a major role in ground effect era, and which indirectly hampers the rear of the car. Let's see what this team does in Monza. Let me know what you think should Mercedes do. Coming to Ferrari, that performance was a surprise for the team. They were close to 1 second slower in qualifying and in a completely opposite situation when it came to the race. As per both the drivers, they had a good race pace but no qualifying pace, which resulted in poor performance by both drivers in the qualifying session, and this what we saw at the season start as well. As per Carlos, no one can understand the complexity of the 2024 cars. Sometimes Red Bull and Mercedes are fast and sometimes vice versa, except McLaren. Same we have been able to see race on race this season. After a very long period, their strategy worked in favor of Ferrari. Charles was able to gain 2 places ahead of Russell after that undercut, which was really a brilliant move. And the defending that we saw from Charles in the later stages, he was able to keep Piastri behind till the checkered flag for the podium finish. This performance will boost Ferrari as they haven't brought the upgrades at Zandvoort. All changes were made as per the analysis from the past performance, and with upgrades coming to Monza and Singapore, I guess they can bounce back and challenge Red Bull and McLaren. Talking about the rest of the grid, Alpine under the leadership of their new TP had shown some good outcome, with Gasly starting and finishing P9 in the race. Aston had a good start, but could not keep their positions in fights against Carlos and Lewis, who started behind them. Williams, Kick Sauber, and RB were in the mix. Which team excited you the most? See you all in my next video. Until then, like, share, and subscribe.